is the unique thing about honey. I mean, there's so many incredible properties about honey, and one of the reasons why I love it, we'll talk a little bit about that. There's this book here, just to give you an idea, an example. I'm sure you've heard about the benefits of properties. The honey prescription, right? It is both a food and a medicine. It is one of the highest sorts of enzymes, in particular amylase. There are hundreds, literally hundreds of different nutritive and medicinal compounds in honey. We can get the benefits by consuming it raw. We can get the benefits by fermenting it. We can get the benefits by putting it on topically. It's incredible. And in fact, all the foods of the hive, the honey, the propolis, the royal jelly, the bee pollen, I'll touch upon a little bit of each of those, have medicinal and superfood benefits. So when I look at this type of template and I say, hey, I can choose any kind of water, any kind of herb, any kind of sweetener, any kind of yeast, naturally I gravitated towards honey, and that's what inspired me first and continues to inspire me. And I'll talk about all kinds of other different variations that you can use. And how did we discover this, right? So honey is the only food that will last in its kind of purity and perfection. It will not degrade over time. So what I mean by that, as soon as you pull a carrot out of the ground, as soon as you pull an apple off the tree, or even just leave it, right? At some point, it reaches this point, and usually it's that picking point where it begins to degrade. It begins to lose nutrition, moment by moment, day by day, as it begins to decay. Whereas honey, as soon as it's harvested or gathered, prepared by the bees, it remains in a perfect state of perfection. It does not begin to degrade. It does not begin to lose nutrients. And I'm sure you've heard of references to them opening up, finding it in tombs and, from ancient Egypt and other places, that honey is still, it's perfect. It's amazing. And there's a lot of magic going on there. So the bees, they're going from flower to flower, they're gathering the nectar of flowers and taking that, bringing it back to the hive. And what they do is then they fan it. Well, they mix it with a bit of their own bee spit and, other things in there. And then they fan it to get it to the right moisture content that perfectly dehydrates it, that preserves it. Now, it will stay like that in that state until that moisture content is imbalanced. And all it takes is just a little bit to offset that moisture content, and then it can begin to ferment. And that's all it takes. So literally, we can have just honey, water, and its natural yeast, wild yeasts, they're opportunistic, that just begin to take advantage. Now they can access those sugars in a way that they can begin to ferment it. So no big surprise.